Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to this video. This video we're going to be talking about the symptoms of a blown ECM fuse. So basically ECM is pretty much the electronic control module and obviously it controls all engine functions. It is also sometimes called a PCM or ECU. Both of those terms are interchangeable with ECM, and pretty much the fuse to the ECM, like any other fuse, serves to protect the component, which is the computer, and it is installed. Sometimes it's installed in the ECM, sometimes it's actually in the fuse box, and it saves the computer from any damage caused by any kind of unexpected electrical surges or shorts. The fuse, actually blows before any damage to the device or the ECM can be done. Symptoms of a blown up fuse can be varies across the board. So if your ECM fuse is blown, there are multiple issues that could arise with how your car drives, handles, starts, etc., etc. And it can pretty much start from a no start function on the car. It causes your car not to be able to turn on. It also can range from it can actually keep the engine from starting. It could actually keep the starter from starting. It could actually keep the battery from not working, in that it's not going to deliver any electricity to the vehicle, and it could probably cause fuel consumption to go up, and car cranking and car not cranking could be part of the symptoms of this issue. And here are some of the symptoms. All right, a blown fuse is depending on what the blown fuse is connected to, it could typically keep your car from starting. And the reason behind this and the symptoms of how to detect a blown fuse are as this: engine stopping, not starting, or misfiring. The fuse to the ECM, when it's blown, the ECM starts failing naturally, and the most prominent symptom of a failing ECM is no power when the key is put to start. So you try to start your car, you're not getting any kind of power. Sometimes you might get some dash lights or whatever, but you can get a no start situation. A failed fuse a lot of times cuts off the power and pretty much disconnects the entire vehicle from the power source. As a result, the engine will fail to start, and you may see an absence of dash lights, but sometimes, for the most part, the dash lights will be illuminated just to tell you that there is an issue, but you're going to have a no start situation regardless. So because the ECM controls the ignition, other important functions, the engine could misfire or cause a no crank situation. Ultimately, it does not start or run smooth. The misfiring, stalling, intermittently can be attributed to faulty computer system as well. But since the ECM fuse is blown, you're not going to get any kind of communication from the computer to the car. So it could be a variety of things, but this misfiring or stalling could be kind of unpredictable. All right, obviously, if you're going to have a disconnect between the engine and the ECM, you're going to get a check engine light, and that check engine light will probably generate codes for a variety of things that probably aren't malfunctioning, but it's just probably because the car is not detecting the ECM being connected to any of the sensors. So as we all know already, or as mentioned already, the ECM is responsible for all electric components of the car, and this includes the check engine light as well. So when your ECM fuse is blown, the check engine light will probably pop up, and that light is probably it's pretty much giving you an indication that there is a problem with any of the sensors or the circuits or the ECM itself. All right, so if you guys do get a blown ECM fuse, you're also going to get bad fuel economy, and a blown fuse will in all cases affect the ECM. And if you guys get bad fuel economy, it's probably because the fuse is slightly damaged and there's still some electricity going to the ECM, and it could actually affect a lot of the readings. And this is probably the case in a lot of these situations where you're getting bad fuel economy. A failing, and this is a failing ECM, not a failed ECM, but a ECM that's damaged instead of, or if the fuse is getting a certain amount, a minimum amount of draw from the battery, it's going to miscalculate the amount of fuel the engine needs. And on top of that, it probably could calculate more than necessary amount of fuel that you need, and the real fuel requirement might increase, and this will result in a bad fuel economy. But it's gonna pretty much result in just a driving experience that's just all over the place. You're probably gonna get misfires and all that stuff. So what do you guys do when you guys detect a blown ECM fuse? So even though the ECM fuse, a blown ECM fuse, ECM issues are difficult to diagnose to begin with, and a lot of the systems in these cars are very, very complicated. The fuse pretty much affects the ECM, which pretty much affects a whole variety of things in the car. And here's what you guys can do if you guys get a blown ECM fuse. You can pretty much change or check the short, and we're talking about a short in the electrical system, wherever it may be that is causing the ECM fuse to keep on blowing. And a lot of components are connected to the ECM, and a lot of times the wiring that connects the ECM with the battery gets damaged sometimes, and if the positive line is connected or hits the ground wire or the frame of the vehicle, which is the ground, it could lead to certain power surges. It could lead to electrical shorts in the system, and if the surge is more powerful than the amperage of the fuse can hold, it'll definitely blow the fuse. And in these cases, it's really necessary to keep check of all the wirings in your car. Just try to figure out whether there is a short in your car, whether there is a drainage issue in your car, and trying to find that is for a lot of times it's like looking for a needle in the haystack, because of how complicated the whole electrical system is. And a lot of times you might need to do a lot of investigation, because electrical systems are not a lot of times are not very easy to figure out. You guys could change the damaged starter. The energy from a damaged starter can pretty much make its way to the ECM and causing a power surge and blown fuse. And if you guys have a damaged starter, you guys will hear a clicking sound from the relay, but it won't start. So, I mean, that could be one of the problems. It's possible that could be one of the problems, because a lot of these parts that I'm going to be mentioning are in some way directly connected to the fuse of the ECM, because the ECM has to monitor all this stuff. So, so you're going to have to troubleshoot all this stuff. A damaged fuel pump, overheating due to a damaged fuel pump accelerates the consumption of amperage. If it exceeds more than the fuse's amperage, it'll blow. So you might need to replace a damaged fuel pump. And O2 sensors, O2 sensor wiring in particular, if the positive O2 sensor, and a lot of the times the O2 sensor wiring is pretty much in one way strapped to the frame of the car, and a lot of times because of the amount of heat that exists in certain areas of the O2 sensor, maybe the wiring will fray, or the skin of the wrappings of the wiring will fray, and then the wires are exposed, and they for whatever reason might make contact with each other, which could cause or make contact with the frame of the vehicle, which could cause a shortage situation, a shorting of the ECM fuse. And what you guys can do is you guys can actually replace the ECM fuse itself, or the ECM, it's, you know, if the ECM fuse, I've seen ECM fuses, sometimes they're in the ECM itself, sometimes it's in the fuse box. Every so often it might be in the fuse box. So basically, you know, change out the fuse if it's blown. Hopefully that will solve your issue. But a lot of times, if your ECM fuse keeps on blowing, chances are there is an electrical issue in the system, and you're gonna have to figure out where that short is in the system, because if it blew the first time, there's a good chance that it's gonna keep on blowing, and you're just gonna keep on having that issue. Anyway, hope this has helped you guys out with trying to figure out why your ECM fuse keeps on blowing, or the symptoms of a blown ECM fuse. Definitely, if you guys have your own personal experiences with this, definitely leave a comment section. It might help somebody else out. Please give me a thumbs up, please subscribe, and all that good stuff. All right, guys, take care.